All right, so today I am in Birmingham, Alabama, and I'm at the Barber Motorsport Park and the Barber Vintage Motorsports Museum, which is something that I've always wanted to see. I've been told to plan to spend most of a day here, so yeah, we're gonna go in, and I think there's some really cool bikes and cars, and if you're any sort of racing fan, should be good. And then we're gonna end the day with some typical Alabama barbecue, supposed to be some of the best in the state, so check in for then. Radial engine motorcycle?
Probably got it like England for.
There's 5 floors. It's gonna be incredible. These suicide shifters have always fascinated me. So this Indian is actually an old police bike, 1932, and on top of the suicide shifter, it has a heel-operated siren that's run off the back tire. So my dad actually has one of these 850 Commando, Norton Commando Interstates. It's in pieces, waiting to be rebuilt. So that's actually one of my goals, dreams, whatever, is to rebuild it. I think it would make just an unbelievably cool cafe racer. Now this is really cool. This is a Bultaco Alpina. It's a 252 stroke. This is actually one of the bikes that I learned to ride on. My first was a Bultaco Libido, which is a little smaller. It was a 175, 125. I actually don't remember. This is the second bike that I ever learned to ride on. We had 2 of them. They weren't quite in this condition, but what a fun bike to ride on. It's the first bike that I learned how to wheelie also. Really cool to see that in here. It's old Spanish Trials bike. It just looks like a piece of art, doesn't it? Alright, so that's a Ducati 999R. I had a 749S that had the same styling. It was basically almost the same bike, but with a slightly smaller motor. The dual headlights were really controversial for Ducati because typically they had the 2 wider ones. My 749S was still my favorite bike that I've ever owned, so it brings back good memories. This place is so cool. So this wooden machine is a replica of the first motorcycle ever built. I can't memorize it quickly, so I'm just going to read this out to you. It's really fascinating. This is a replica of the first, or one of the first motorcycles to be built. 2 German engineers, Daimler and Maybach, constructed this simple vehicle to try out the new engine. They called it a right wagon riding car, and Maybach rode it for 2 miles, reaching speeds of 7 miles per hour. They also constructed a device to mix gasoline, which they called a carburetor. This is where it all began. These old Indians here. It's incredible the amount of motorcycles they have here. Like, it's almost like they have every motorcycle ever made. Pretty much everyone I've ever heard of anyway. This R100 RT, this guy took about 2 years with his girlfriend and went around the world on these bikes. 65,000 miles. So what's that? It's close to 100,000 kilometers. Wow. My dad has a R100 RS that's very similar to this one. So I kind of grew up around old British bikes. My dad was into really old British bikes. Well, really old to me. I think they were kind of current for him. And one of the bikes that I always loved is a Triton, which is they took a Norton featherbed frame and they put a Triumph motor in it. So I guess at the time Triumph had the best motors, Norton had the best frame. They put them together to make a Triton. I've always had a thing for cafe racers. I think they're really, really cool, and this is one of the coolest of the bunch. They were also the most popular bikes at the Ace Cafe in London back in the 60s. They were called rockers, and I guess they wore, you know, like leather jackets and scarves and whatever, and they would meet up at the Ace Cafe and go racing. I actually was at the Ace Cafe when I was a kid, so it's again just bringing back more cool memories. That's a Triton there. What a cool bike. I love Italian bikes, just like Italian cars. This is so cool. 1964 Ferrari F1 car. This is the actual physical vehicle that John Surtees won the F1 Drivers' Championship in. To this day, he remains the only guy to win a world championship on both 4 wheels and 2. So Formula 1 and I'm not sure if Superbike or whatever it was called at the time. Incredible. It's really cool seeing all these Formula 1 cars. I'm a huge Formula 1 fan, and I did a year of racing in Formula 2000. So it's just really, really neat. I've only ever seen them, been to a couple races, seen them on the track, and when we were racing Formula 2000, they brought Michael Schumacher's Ferrari to the track, but never seen so many up close in person all at once. What a cool day. But now I'm off to get some typical Alabama barbecue. There's a place that's come highly recommended to me, and they have a really unique popular dish that comes with collard greens. Collard greens is something, again, I've always wondered about, didn't even really know what it is. And it's just these slow cooked greens. I think they stew them for hours, and I'm pretty sure there's like meat juice because it's absolutely delicious. So since I've come to the South, any opportunity I can, I've had some collard greens, we're gonna go have some more. All right, so I'm at Saw's Juke Joint to get some Alabama barbecue. They have a really famous dish that is grits, which I haven't had yet, cheese grits, with collard greens, which I love, with a big hunk of pork, really good, soft, fall apart. I think it's pork shoulder, topped with some fried onions. So I'm really looking forward to it.